Hello, it's Toaster Party, and today I'm going to talk about what my picks are for the 5 best Wilds of Eldraine cards for CEDH. So it's been a while since we've had a standard set, and this one's looking pretty good so far. So without further ado, let's get talking about the cards. Starting things off with number 5, we have 2 picks with Flick a Coin and Grabby Giant. Flick a Coin for 2 generic and a red is an instant that reads, deal 1 damage to any target, you create a treasure token, draw a card. With Grabby Giant, you have a creature for 3 generic and a red that has reach, and the activated ability to pay 2 generic and a red to sacrifice an artifact or land and draw a card. It's also a 4/3. It also has the adventure half of being 1 generic and a red to create a treasure token. So both of these cards would seem like they would be interesting for one deck in particular, that being Kark and Zakashima, because those decks already are playing a good number of these kinds of effects. Flick a Coin is just 3 different cards that it's already playing stapled into one. It's a little bit expansive mana-wise, but if you already have the Kark and Sakashima in play, you can pretty much win the game off of this. And with Grabby Giant, it's already doing something similar to what the deck wants to do. And if you are able to loop the effect enough times, you should be able to activate the ability enough times to be able to draw into a win. So both interesting cards for that deck, not necessarily game-breaking or anything, but interesting considerations. So let's move now to number 4, Talion the Kindly Lord. For 2 generic blue and a black, you get a legendary Fairy Noble that has flying, that says, as it enters the battlefield, choose a number between 1 and 10. And whenever an opponent casts a spell with mana value, power, or toughness equal to the chosen number, that player loses 2 life and you draw a card. It is also a 3/4. So this is an interesting commander, as it is a very powerful resource engine that you can get down on as early as turn 1. And all you really need to do is name 1 or 2, and you will probably be drawing a lot of cards off of this, and dealing a lot of damage to your opponent. So in a more grindy game, this is going to be a very powerful resource engine that is going to also help deny your opponent's life totals if they're trying to go for ad nauseum. Let's move now to number 3, Moonshaker Cavalry. For 5 generic and 3 white, you get a Spirit Knight creature that has flying, that says when Moonshaker Cavalry enters the battlefield, creatures you control gain flying and gain X plus X until end of turn, where X is the number of creatures you control. It is also a 6/6. So this is pretty much just White Crater Hook Behemoth. It gives things flying instead of trample, which in some cases might actually just be better. And when this hits the field, you're essentially winning the game. So this also helps provide a I win button for white decks, which is something that they could always use more of, as they are the color that is most likely to try attempting to win via creature combat. So this is a really great boost to the low color white stacks decks, as it actually puts a more real clock on the board than just, I will eventually win through creature combat. This is just a way to speed that up. So let's move now to number 2, Rowan Scion of War. For a generic black and a red, you get a legendary creature, Human Wizard, with Menace that says tap. Spells you cast this turn that are black and or red cost X less to cast, where X is the amount of life you lost at this turn. Activate only as a sorcery, and it also is a 4/2. So this is the most powerful commander in this set by far. So basically what this commander does is that it turns anything that causes you to lose life during your turn into a ritual. So if you have something like a fetch land, that makes all of your spells cost 1 generic less. Cards like Ad Nauseam and Peer into the Abyss are good. Now imagine that you only have to pay 2 and 3 mana for each of them, and all the spells you're going to cast afterwards have no generic in their mana cost afterwards. This card goes insane with a ton of different cards. You can even play things like Ensanguinate or Torment of Hailfire and legitimately win off of those cards, because you can so easily get your life total down from 40 to almost nothing and then blast your opponents for lethal with either of those cards. This is a very good Rakdos commander with a lot of easy ways to build in win conditions outside of your typical Rakdos breach lines. And that additional diversity in win condition, along with being a very good commander, easily puts this at number 2. Let's move on now to number 1, Beseech the Mirror. For 1 generic and 3 black, you get a sorcery with Bargain that says you may sacrifice an artifact, enchantment, or token as you cast the spell. And its ability is search your library for a card, exile it face down, then shuffle. If this spell was bargained, you may cast the exiled card without paying its mana cost, and if that spell's mana value is 4 or less, put the exiled card into your hand if it wasn't cast that way. So you're never going to use this without using its bargain cost. But what this card basically is easy access to a lot of different win conditions. Specifically, the card you're probably going to be searching the most with this is Underworld Breach. So the line would be Beseech the Mirror, put Breach into play, then get back some form of mana ramp like a Dark Ritual, cast Beseech the Mirror again, get something like a Lion's Eye Diamond, and then keep searching stuff with Beseech the Mirror until you've assembled your win condition onto the field. So overall, just a very compact way to win the game off of 1 card. Well, that's all I had to say. Thank you all for watching. Hope you leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and I hope you all have an excellent day.